Welcome to my channel, y'all. I'm here with my 2026 planner. Finally received it. So just we're gonna take a flip through this because this is the first time that I've ever used this planner. And just kind of giving you a heads up, if you haven't seen my previous videos of my bullet journal for my faith and then also my reading journal, go check those videos out and like, comment, and share. It helps the girl out. I'm over here trying. So a little backstory about this planner. Last year in 2025, I had already ordered my Hobonichi planner, right? And I saw that Mandy Lynn Plans had got a planner that had a different setup that I was like, oh, I kind of like the way this is set up. And I'd never heard of the business before, anything of that nature. And so I decided that then I was going to buy it for 2026. Well, I pre-ordered this months ago, to get it at a cheaper price. Come in, we were supposed to get it in October. So there was all of this delay in shipping, one thing, another, whatever. But what I will say is the owner of Just Scribbles, even though there was a lot of delays and there was a lot of commotion going on, her communication was stellar. We always knew what was going on. It wasn't so last minute about things, but she did keep us in the know of, hey, it's being shipped, it's in customs, this is what's happening. So we kind of always knew. She said she would give us a little freebie for the inconvenience. She even mentioned where she would be able to, she would send out like expedited shipping. But it wasn't for everybody, that type of thing. And so I can appreciate the communication. Things happen. And I know she wanted to get in people's hands because, this is the time everyone's doing like their setup videos and all that kind of good stuff. And most people want to be ready to go come January 1 and just kind of chillax in the December month of, family, that type of thing. But again, her communication was really, really, stellar. So let's go ahead and we're going to get into looking at this package. It came in a really to my front door, which I'm assuming I got expedited because if it would have went to my through the post office, it would have went to my mailbox. But I can appreciate it came to the front door. We have the blush color mailer. So the mailer is bubble wrapped here. Okay, so we're gonna, only thing I did was open up the top of it. So we're gonna pull this out and see this together. So as I mentioned, the mailer was bubble wrapped, so it's a thick mailer. Then she even bubble wrapped the planners themselves. So that was a nice touch. She meant that, hey, you're gonna get your stuff. So it was well wrapped. I was surprised at the thickness of this package. I don't know what I was thinking. But it comes in 2 volumes. So it has kind of like the whole Avec situation, volume 1 and volume 2. So you have first 6 months and the second 6 months in here. So let me open up this package. All right, so this is her social media card, telling you how to find her on YouTube, Instagram, and her website. Then we have this holographic washi roll. That's cute. Now, I really like this one, which is the sticker that basically tells you, here's your plans, etc. I really like that. Then we received, it's like the pencil board, like Hobonichi. I know it's not a Hobonichi pencil board, so I don't know if this is the freebie or if this is standard that comes with the planner when you buy it from her. That I'm not 100% sure. Again, this is the first time that I've purchased anything from this shop, Just Scribbles. It's a nice board, a great board to go with the planner, so I could appreciate that. And then we have this other piece that we're getting. It looks like a blank sheet of paper, basically. I'm trying to get it open here. So it's a thicker kind of piece of paper is what it feels like. Oh, this is what they say is a freebie, and it's called a blotter paper. So I'm not really sure the blotter paper. Have you guys ever used a blotter paper? If so, comment down below, tell me about it. I assume it's for like your fountain pens, your ink pens, so that you can dab it so it doesn't bleed to the page in front of it, or your stance or something. Not really sure. So if you have used blotter paper, definitely let me know in the comments below. So let's take a look at the actual planner. So here is, I've taken them out of the package. So here is volume 1. So you can see it has, it's this pinky kind of color. I thought it came in 2 colors, a pinkish kind of color and a cream color. I thought I got cream, but obviously it comes in this pinky kind of blush color. I'm not losing my mind over it because if you know me, I'm not a fan of pink, but this blush color I can live with. I'm not going to lose my mind. Plans is just kind of like a bronzy color that we have. Hopefully you can see that. And then you can see on the spine, you've got 2026 volume 1. So you know that's the first 6 months. And then the second one, you can see the vertical volume 2 and the same thing. So it's easy for you to take off your shelf when you need to get to it. Now, as we take a look at, I know they're not using the Hobonichi paper. This feels soft. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's soft. It's not leathery. It's smooth. It's pliable. It's nice. I just don't know how to describe what kind of material this would be. So they're not using the Tomoe River paper like what they use in Hobonichi. I keep calling it Hobonichi paper, but you know, it's basically where it came famous from. They have a different type of paper. She did a video talking about all the different papers that she did research on, which one she wanted to go to. None of it made sense to me. I was like, I'll see it when I get it. I don't mind the Tomoe River paper, the Tomoe River paper. There we go. Because I like the crinkly sound that it makes. I'm okay with the ghost in it has. It just kind of gives it character, so I'm okay with that. So we're going to see, so like this one is sticker paper. You can see that we've got 2026 at a glance, and then we have 2026 where you get the volume 2 so that you can make your pre-planning, right? So again, January through December, and then you have the July through December on the second half, and you have the lines there so that way you can jot down any pre-planning that you may need to do for your volume 2 set. Then we go into, I'm going to call it, is it called a perpetual calendar? So that setup is the same like a Hobonichi. You've got January through June. You can see the lighter gray is the weekends. Again, the paper is thicker. I don't know how I feel about it. Then you have the annual goals. Then a blank sheet. And then you get into quarter 1. So you're like your top 3 things that you want to do for the quarter. Then you have blank graph at the bottom. Then you get into your quarter 1 goals. You have like 6 spots here. Then you have a tracker for the quarter. I don't know that I will use these, but you have them set there. So you write down whatever it is that you're tracking and it goes across. Then you get to your quarter pre-plan. So what you may have January, February, March, kind of do your thing. You've got graph paper. Then you get into the month. You've got your top 3 for the month and then the graph paper. And what I liked with this style was because, you know, in the Hobonichi, you get all your months in the beginning, then all your weeks, and then you get all the days in the back. Now with this one, they put everything together for the quarter. So you've got month, week, day. And that's what really intrigued me when I saw it last year. So as you can see, you've got your calendar, your 2-month spread. I like the font with this. As you can see, it has the previous months in a lighter color, but it's not that much lighter. I'm not a fan of it, but you know, hey, cover it up. So that's not a big deal. I like the font. Over here, you have the weeks numbered for those of you who follow like week 1, 2, 3 out of the year. Doesn't matter to me on that. It's not something that I look to use. And then you have the bottom graph area, and you know, you put your to-do, so you can use like a Mandy Lynn plans kit, so that she has kits that'll make it all decorative for you. Then we've got 2 blank pages, not blank, graph pages here. And those graph pages, you could do like your memories, you can do a vision board for the month, whatever you like. Then we get into the weeks, and this is what I like. So we've got our week. So it's starting in December because this is showing you the full week, even though January 1st is not until later in the week. Then you get a blank page, do whatever you like with it, creative, doodle, scan, scratch, but then you get into the dailies. So now we go the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, right? So we've got each one daily, and then we go back into the week. So this is what drew me into it, because everything was kind of like together. So you didn't have to go, from the front for the month and go to the middle for weeks and then at the back for the daily. And so I'm just kind of going through here. I assumed the setup was going to be exactly the same. As I looked at it, and I was like, okay, here's May. And then we have the April recap. So recap how your month went. Did you achieve whatever goals? And you have your intro to May. And I was backing up, and this is when I realized that things were different. So forgive me that I'm going backwards. I just thought it was all going to be the same, and this caught my attention when I looked at April and March. So I was like, oh, here's April. Here's the April intro page. But then I was like, wait, that's a blank page. I was like, oh, quarter 2 began. And then I noticed here's some trackers. So here's the quarter 2 stuff. Then I realized, okay, so March had a recap, and then you have the quarter 1 recap. So you finish the month of March with your dailies. And here I'm just like, wait, so is it not the same every month? And then I'm looking for February to see what the end of February looked like, and not using my brain to know that I should have looked at the gray markings that will show you where February begins. So I was like, okay, yep, February recap is here. The March intro page is here. And then you've got your, setup, the calendar, then the graph paper, the 2 sheets between, and then you start your week. I was like, okay, that was the same, but it's different when the quarter ends. Because when the quarter ends, it's going to show you the month that you're wrapping up, and then the quarter wrap up. Then you have a blank page to do whatever you will. Then you have your quarter, like what are your goals for the quarter, or your quarter intro, and then your quarter goals, the quarter trackers. So this is all for the second part of the quarter, your pre-planning for the quarter. Then your graph paper, and then your intro to April. So there was a lot going on there before you get into the month of April. And then you have your April recap, and then your May introduction. So I was a little kind of thrown off. There's a lot that happens at the end of the quarter. So if those of you who are quarterly based, you will absolutely love that. I think there's a lot of goal pages. So if you're goal oriented, there's a lot that can happen there. If you're not, you can have a lot of space for creativity. I also noticed that there are numbered pages. So you could also use that at the beginning of the month to say where you can find stuff. And then I went to the end of the book to see that we have some blank pages. And I was like, okay, so we end the month and we have several blank pages. And I'll put up here on the screen here in a little bit with how many pages that we get at the end. So I'm showing you, here's a June recap and the quarter 2 recap. So now that we're done with book 1. And then we have all these blank pages here at the back. And I'll insert here the number of blank pages that we get. And then it tells you to be continued. So then we take a look at volume 2. And volume 2, as we take a look at this, it's basically the same 2026 year at a glance, but now we have future planning for 2027. Then we have the second quarter or second half of the year, the perpetual calendar. Now you have your annual goals that you basically brought over to volume 2. Then you've got your quarter 3 intro page, your quarter 3 goals just like before. Then your quarter 3 trackers. Then your quarter 3 pre-planning. Then we start with July. We've got our calendar, our blank graph pages, and then we get into our weeks and then our dailies. So it's the same kind of look. So we can see we've got our dailies, and then we go with our November recap, December intro. So yep, nothing new. The calendar again, and then we've got blank pages or the weeks, and then this also has blank pages at the back. And the blank pages at the back of volume 2 are the same as the volume 1. So we've got our December recap, the quarter 4 recap, and then you're done with the year. And then we say it's the end. Again, the paper feels smooth. And then I'm checking here, like, does it lay flat no matter where you are in the book? It's more of a cream color. It's not a bright white. So that's sort of showing you, like, the paper here is a bright white that I brought into the camera versus against that paper. So kind of has that Hobonichi-esque coloring. I noticed there was a little dent in it, but it's not the end of the world as long as it keeps the integrity of the binder. So that's what I was checking here. It didn't come in pristine, but it's okay. And then I was like, okay, lays flat here. It lays flat here. So I'm checking like different portions of the planner to see, does it lay flat? I wanted to double check, make sure no issues with the volume 1, that it lays flat. Because, you know, a lot of times you'll see lay flat in the middle, but I want to see towards the end when you have a chunkier piece, you know, in the beginning or the end. So overall, I'm looking forward to utilizing this planner. And right now, I can't afford to buy sticker kits, so we'll use clip arts, etc. If you have any Mandy Lynn Plans Hobonichi kits, they will fit in this Just Plans. It won't be a perfect fit, but it will work, so you can utilize that. But Mandy Lynn Plans does sell the kits that goes to this Just Plans planner. I don't know that I will use all these annual goals, so we can just use it differently, you know, however that you may. So there should be some, I'll do some setup coming up at some point. I've got to figure out what I want to do on the setup, since I am just not in a financial space to buy sticker kits for this. So I've got to use what I have in order to make it work. If anything, I'll get the planner tabs my planner Bessie told me about that was on Amazon, to put them in here. It was at a low cost, and then, you know, with Amazon Prime, it's free shipping, so save on that. And again, I really enjoy how you've got, so like, you know, I was trying to figure out all this extra space. There's a lot of extra space because you got your to-do list. Because I was thinking, oh, that blank page, we could put a to-do list, but you have that available in your weekly view before you get there. And then as you can see, the gray is where you can see the different months. So I'm showing you January, February, which I don't know why I didn't do that to get to the right months earlier, making life difficult. Because I could see here's the tab for March, and literally got me there. But I am going to look about maybe getting some tabs to put here. In the planner itself, so we shall see. Mandy Lynn Plans also sells tabs as well. And I've mentioned her several times because that was my shop preference for my Hobonichi cousin. But right now I can't do that. So hopefully, if you've never heard of Just Scribble, that if you're interested in having some of this all together. So until next time, bye.